And welcome back to another CV Talk with your boy Will Dickinson. We're doing a short episode today. We're gonna be trying some more of these. This is probably around a 10-minute episode, but we gotta talk about yesterday. Feast Week has already delivered. We had a lot of good games last night or last night. So let's talk about them. I have only slight changes in my top 25 and one, because Gonzaga did end up losing. They dropped in one spot. They looked really good in that first half game against Purdue, but Purdue showed its dominance in that second half with the win. They dropped the 13th overall, and Kentucky also drops a spot after barely being St. Joe's. And that means Texas A&M moves up 2 spots to number 12 in the rankings. And Virginia also loses last night, which causes them to drop out of my rankings after scoring 41 points, which is pretty impressive. But let's get to this Maui Invitational. Tennessee took down Syracuse pretty easily, kept it close in the first half, did Syracuse, but the second half it was all the Volunteers in that one. Dalton Knecht, their best player, 17 this one, really didn't score much late into that game. Josiah Jordan-James with a double-double. Joseph Aidoo with a double-double with 14 and 11. Quality bench scoring from Zakai Ziegler with 9, Meshack, and Vescovi really taking over more of a playmaking type role this year. 5 assists in this one. Easy win there. Judah Mintz struggled from the field. So did JJ Starling. Syracuse goes down. They're going to try to get a win against Gonzaga today, which would be really good for the Orange here. But they're probably going to end up going 1-2 with a win over Chaminade. In that 7th, 8th place game. Tennessee, big matchup tonight against Purdue. If Tennessee wins this, they're going to move up. They could move up to number 1 with a win tonight. We'll see. They play Purdue, and we have the 1 versus 4 in the AP. It's a 1 versus 3 in my rankings. Kansas takes on Marquette. A really, really big matchup between these two programs here. But yeah, Tennessee looks super good right now, and they're going to be hard to stop with the way they're playing. Indiana took down Louisville by 8, so I think Louisville's better, but they're still ass. Indiana's 4-1, but they're fine, but they're not great. But the biggest game yesterday was Purdue versus Gonzaga in the Maui Invitational, the second-ranked team versus number 11th-ranked team in the AP poll. And Gonzaga had a 5-point lead at half, but they couldn't score in the second half. They really struggled from 3, and they end up losing by 10 to a Purdue team who dominated inside. Zach Edey struggled in that first half. In the second half, dominant as ever, at 25 and 14 in this one. I believe Landon Jones is his name. Is that his name? Lance Jones was a huge second half for Purdue. Had 13 this one. Braden Smith looked good. And they started hitting some more threes in the second half. I mean, they only hit 4 for the game, but they took way less than Gonzaga did. And Purdue dominates inside. It's what they do. They stay out of foul. Their bench got in some foul trouble, but not as much as Gonzaga. Purdue gets to the line, ends up winning this game. Edey 7 for 9 from the free throw line. If he can do that, Purdue is going to be very, very hard to beat. 7-9 from the line for a 7-footer, 7'5", 7'4". That's just crazy. Gonzaga got off to a really good start. I really like the way they play. They have a lot of depth, at least big depth, and I think that's good. But they don't have a lot of guard depth in this one. Ryan Nembhard had to play pretty much the whole game, and he struggled in the second half. Nolan Hickman almost had to play the whole game too. So they got to find out more guards. Dusty Stromer had good minutes up there, but if they can find a good bench guard, I think that would really help Gonzaga, because they have Braden Huff, and Greg off the bench. Those are 2 good bigs there, and then Graham EK looked very good in that first half there. But we'll see with Gonzaga, right? St. Mary's looks down this year, so they should have their conference on lock. But we'll see if they can go 2-1 in Maui here with a win over Syracuse and a win over UCLA. That'd be very, very good for the Zags, and you would take positives out of the week, but obviously want to win that one, especially being up at half. But Purdue looks dominant as ever. And it's going to be a really tough game against Tennessee, because Tennessee's such a physical team, but I mean, if Purdue can win this, and we'll see if they can place Kansas for whoever wins, that will be ranked number 1 in the nation. But that was a very good game. Wisconsin just destroys Virginia. Virginia scored 18 in the first half, 41 for the game. So a really just tough showing for the Cavaliers in this one. Reese Beekman had 17. No one else scored more than 9. So really just a tough game there. Stephen Crowd double. Blackwell had 10 off the bench for Wisconsin, and it's crazy. Like Connor Essegian, 4 minutes in this one. Last year he was a huge player on this team, so that just says that Wisconsin has a lot of depth there. And a very good win for the Badgers here, who are trying to avoid to have their 3rd loss of the year. I'm not sure they play today, but we can go check that. Colorado continues to win. Their SMU beats West Virginia. I think West Virginia's down. Of course, Kansas got a nice win over Chaminade. Chaminade kept it close in that first half, but it was just Kansas in that second half there. They ended up winning by 27 in a big game for Kansas against Marquette tonight. Winner of that game, if Marquette wins, they're going to be my number 1 team in the country. Well, it might be Purdue. If Marquette wins, they'll probably move up to number 2. But let's see if Kansas can continue to look strong. Hunter Dickinson was dominant in that one, and I expect him to be dominant again tonight because Marquette holds on against UCLA. After a great second half, they were down 5 going into half. David Joplin hits 5 threes to score 19. This one, Iguodaro, the big, is going to have a handful with Hunter Dickinson. He's not as big as Dickinson is, but he plays a 5 for them at 14 in this one. Kulik, didn't have a scoring night, but still had 9 assists in this one. They have depth. They're very similar from last year's team, and I think that's why Marquette is so good. They have the camaraderie, they have the experience of playing together, and a good win in this one. Mac for UCLA. 13 for 13 from the line, 25 points was good. Dembona looking solid there, but I think UCLA does not have the camaraderie or the experience of playing together like Marquette. And I think as the year goes on, UCLA is only going to get better here. And but a good showing for UCLA, keeping it close. And let's see if they can go 2-1 and beat a Gonzaga in that 3rd, 4th, or in that 5th, 6th place game. We'll see. But UCLA, I'm not mad at UCLA. They were just at my top 25, and they still are. I couldn't put them in with a loss, though. I put Clemson in my top 25. They're undefeated, playing well. PJ Hall looks like a beast. So I got Clemson in, and Virginia out. My top 25 is the only real big movement from last night. But let's go to the day, because we got some more good games taking place today. Of course, Syracuse versus Gonzaga at 3. Gonzaga's minus 12. Should be a win for Gonzaga. Don't want to drop one to Syracuse there. That'd be a little concerning. For the Orange, a good chance to prove to your team how good you are. Colorado takes on Florida State there. I got the Buffs ranked 21 in my rankings. They're 18th in the poll. Only 4.5 against Florida State. I guess it's more of a local game, Florida State. This game's taking place in Daytona Beach. Chaminade takes on UCLA. Should be an easy win for UCLA in this one. We got a couple more just smaller MTEs going down throughout the day, which are always just fun to see who can take them home and who can be the mid-majors that make the tournament. Big game in 8, Tennessee, Purdue. Again, Purdue opens up as a 3-point favorite there. This is going to be a really, really good game. I mean, how is Tennessee going to deal with Edey? I think Gonzaga let Edey try to work one-on-one yesterday, and it worked in the first half, but in the second half, those little small hooks started to go in, and that was a problem for them. And of course, Tennessee's going to have to shoot the ball well, and I think if they can get Purdue running, get Edey moving on defense, and get in transition, I think Tennessee has a great chance of pulling this upset here. I really do think Tennessee can win this game. But to say they will win this game will be tough, and I can't wait to see how this one plays out, because these are two just phenomenal teams going against each other. And then the last great game of the day might be even a better one. It's Kansas versus Marquette. Kansas opens up as a minus 4.5 point favorite against the Golden Eagles of Marquette. The big matchup here is how they handled Hunter Dickinson. It's kind of similar thing. Marquette doesn't have a dominant big or great size, and Hunter Dickinson's been one of the best players in the nation, if not the best player in the nation, to start off this year. But I think it again, if they can handle Hunter Dickinson well and make other players beat them, is huge. We saw DeJuan Harris have a really good game, against Kentucky, but can he do that again? Make players replicate great performances. And that's a whole thing for Kansas, for Marquette here, is try to neutralize Hunter Dickinson. If you're Kansas, keep playing solid defense, get the ball inside there, and gotta limit the scoring of Tyler Kulik or the playmaking. Try to get the ball out of his hands, because when he has it in there, he has it on the string there. And he's the engine of that offense. We saw Dwayne Wade in the stands last night, which is super cool, sitting courtside supporting Marquette there. But a good game here. Those are just two phenomenal semifinal games in Maui there, against every single one of those teams is in my top 6. So 4 out of the top 6 in one tournament playing in the semifinals. Even the loser game will still be amazing. Whoever gets the third place win, they're not really going to move in my top 25. So it sucks that one of these teams is going to go 0-2. And that's going to be tough to see, but I'm still, if they go 0-2 respectfully, it's still not going to be a major drop off, but one of these teams is going to end up with 2 losses, which sucks. But that's the risk you enter when you go into Maui, and it's a good chance to prove to your team and get them good competition early in the season. So I do not know if I'm going to be able to make an episode tomorrow, but I want to do a quick one here, just talking about what happened about yesterday. Of course, Maui's not hitting the same when it's not in that small gym. It's taking place in the University of Hawaii, which I didn't realize. So it doesn't have as much of the same vibes, but it's Maui. It's great. 4 great games. I'm sorry, 4 great teams playing again in some good games. So again, go to your TV. Oh, I didn't talk about UConn being Texas. That was the only thing I missed. UConn did take down Texas. UConn looks like one of the best teams in the nation. Looks like they really haven't missed a step, and they've lost a lot of players there. Even it's not like it's the Klingon show either. Klingon's been good, but not outstanding. Cam Spencer looks really good, of course. Trishan Newton. Aldama looks not Aldama. What's his name? Oh my god, I can see Caravan. Sorry, Aldama's the guy on the Grizzlies. Caravan looks very good. Had 20 in that one. UConn looks as good as ever, and they have the longest win streak going in the country there. And but I mean, so does Texas. Texas looked better. They kept it close. I don't really fault them for losing a game they should have lost. But yeah, Texas still looks good. I think they can contend the Big 12. Are they on the same level right now? I think I got them as the 4th best team in the Big 12, behind Kansas, Houston, and Baylor. And they might be on the same level as a team like Iowa State. But I still got them ranked higher than Iowa State. Yeah, Kansas State looks pretty good. But that's about it. Yeah. Want to cover that, but I'm pretty sure I covered everything. And I don't know about when this next video going to be, but if I don't see you before Thanksgiving, have a great Thanksgiving. Can't believe the Eagles won last night. That was crazy. And Kelsey didn't get my 40 fantasy points that I needed to win. 6-5, still living. Have a great feast week, guys. And if I don't see you before Thanksgiving, have a good Thanksgiving. Peace.